Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Happy Sunday. So I have a little bit of a different graphic here. Now we are working with two colors, okay? Now it is backwards, just like the illuminated frame was, okay? So the best way I can tell you to do this is situate this first like this, okay? Now I know I said before you want to get this all in one piece, but what we're going to do here is we're going to work with this piece first. Okay, I'm going to take the bird off and put it to the side. Okay, now I do have my squeegee today, so what I've done is I cut the vinyl and I've weeded everything out. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to apply this. Okay, so we've got it all laid out. And you want to kind of try to keep it where you have it laid down so you don't mess up. And this is kind of hard to get going here. You might have to take it from the other end like this here. You just want to find where you can grab it. Okay, so I am using packing tape for this one, and I've already cleaned the glass with alcohol. Now remember, when you're using glass, you can use the alcohol. When you're using acrylic or plastic or anything like that, definitely don't want to use alcohol. Like I said, it will mar your plastic or your acrylic. It'll make it cloudy, foggy, and it won't look right. Okay, so you know that we're going to have to go about that much from the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, I'm going to take it all off here. Okay, make sure everything peels off right. Okay, so set that to the side. And I have to stand up to do this so I can get it right. Okay, and you just want to lay that right there on the glass. Okay, remember I said you don't want any bubbles. Okay, you just get that down like that. Okay, you're gonna take this squeegee. Thank God I have this today. Okay, because it was in the other room last time. And burnishing with your fingers really doesn't cut it. Okay, you really want to burnish with this squeegee to get all the air bubbles out. Okay, so we know we're good there. All right, let's toss that away. And now remember what I said. All right, we burnished it real good. So now we're going to be pulling all this packing tape. And you kind of want to do this really slow and at an angle. Okay, since we're working with this glass piece. Pull it nice and slow. Okay, make sure none of that vinyl is going to come up. And if it does, you just burnish it down. Okay, like that. Pull it like this. If you see the vinyl coming up, you can always put your fingernail down there and then put your finger on it and hold it. Okay, and it will usually stay. It'll usually stay down. Sometimes it'll give you a hard time. Now, if it does do that, kind of come over here, turn it around, start at a different angle, which is what I do. Okay, and try to work it this way. Vinyl's still gonna come up. Okay, so you gotta burnish it real good and just kind of take it slow with this. Now I'm using a different vinyl than I did on the last piece here, on the flicker lantern. So I use a lot of different brands of vinyl. Cricut, Oracle. You just use what you like best. If you're working with the vinyl, just use what you really like best, because I don't really have a favorite. I mean, I've used a bunch of them. But you want something that's easy to weed, easy to cut. Okay, Hello Hobby, I've dealt with them a little bit. Their vinyl's pretty good. It's not that easy to cut though. sometimes it, it doesn't really cut that great. For certain projects, it does, like the wooden boxes that I made for Christmas last year. It did real good on those. But as far as glass, I don't know. I don't really care for it on glass. The Cricut really works good on glass. And I believe this is what I used here. All right, see, if your vinyl starts picking up, just use your nail to try to get it back down and hold it. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and pull very, very slowly. Now see, that part's going to come up. Okay, so you just want to pull as slow as you possibly can. See, that eye's going to come up there. And I mean, I've even burnished this real good. So it really should not be doing that. And you can turn your piece and work with it like that. Sometimes you got to use the weeding tool to get this vinyl to stay. Okay. So if it does that, you put your finger on it and hold it down. And there goes the eye again. Okay, so we're just going to try to get that piece. The thing here that you don't want to do is you don't want to mar your vinyl. If you do that, you're going to have to cut it all over again. Okay, so try to put your finger on it and hold and pull very, very slowly. See how that A's coming up? Yeah, that's what you don't want. Okay, so you'll go over and burnish it again, and it's still picking up. Put your finger on it and hold that letter down. Okay? Just hold the vinyl down with your finger as best you can. Now see how that A is picking up? Okay, and the tree up here is picking up too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to burnish that a little bit. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to work in a different area because you do not want that vinyl picking up. And sometimes it could be a real pain. I mean, your vinyl won't stay even though you've cleaned it with your alcohol. I mean, sometimes it can be really tricky. Okay, see there? We got it again with the W. Just try to hold that down. If you can't, I just move around to different areas of this thing, you know. And sometimes when it's really humid, the vinyl will do that. It won't stick to your piece. Okay, so just go find another area to work with. Okay, and that piece is gonna so we're just gonna pull that. We're gonna hold it down with the thumb there. We might need to have, I'm gonna go ahead and use the tweezers. I don't like to do this because usually I'll use the weeding tool, but if it won't pull away from the vinyl, you've got to use something to get it away from the vinyl. Let's see, that usually means there's air somewhere. So I'm going to just go start working over here again. See if I can't pull this away a little bit. Yeah, usually I don't have this much trouble with it. Okay. Just hold it down a little bit. Hold that vinyl to the glass with your finger. You should be able to get it. Thing about it is you really want to pull slowly. Okay, don't pull quickly because it'll mess up your design really bad. Okay, now see how I'm doing that with my finger there? Okay, all right. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn around this way, and I know that eye's going to come up. I know it will. This is kind of the reason why I don't really like to do tutorials. They take up a lot of time, but I want to show y'all how to layer this vinyl because I promised I would. All right, so see that eye's picking up a little bit. Just want to keep going with it, okay? So the T is going to do the same thing. Just want to hold it down. There goes the A. Okay, let's get that vinyl down on that glass. And let's hope it doesn't mess our design up. Okay, so just hold it till it stays down. And I'm probably going to do the same thing here. You got to really watch it. I don't have a lot of strength in my hands, so I'm kind of trying to go real slow here. Now I'm hoping that the rest of this isn't gonna do this. Okay, I'm just hoping. All right, so we're just gonna get that down. We'll get that down on the vinyl. The M is trying to cause some issues here. All right, let's just try to go real slow, and let's kind of burnish that down just a little bit. See if that helps it. Because I'm telling you, one letter out of place, and it'll wreck your whole design. You'll just have to go all the way back through, and it's not pleasant. All right, so all I'm doing is slowly pulling and pushing that vinyl right back down onto the glass. Very slowly. Okay, that M there is going to cause a little bit of an issue here. Yeah, vinyl's cool to work with, but sometimes, like I said, it can give you some issues. All right, you just kind of gotta be patient with it, you know. What I should have done was just went ahead and put this down and then showed you how to layer the vinyl. Usually what I like to do is get the whole piece together and then, but see, this is such a big, it's a little bit larger of a piece than what I did on the last project, so kind of got to watch that too. Now see, sometimes it'll come off decent, and sometimes it won't. And like I said, using the packing tape is a lot cheaper than transfer tape, okay? And it does a good job on like glass and flat surfaces. Okay, so there we go with that. Okay, so now we're off the lettering at least. Like I said, we're gonna work on this branch here and see if the lettering is the trickiest part, okay? So we're gonna just keep pulling, making sure the branches do not come up, all right? So they're trying, but we're gonna take and put our finger on that and make it stay there. Okay. So at least we got through the lettering part. With not too much trouble. Like I said, when it's a little bit warm outside, it tends to give you a little bit of an issue. And you want to make sure all this vinyl is very flat on this glass. Okay? And you can see when it's picking up. That you don't want. Alright, so we're almost done with the branch. Alright, you see how that vinyl's picking up right there? Just put your finger on it. Make sure it doesn't bunch up, because it will not be pretty if it does that. Okay, so we're just gonna pull. Excuse my hand in the way, but alright, see that little bit of vinyl where it's picking up? Okay, you want to put your fingernail on that and hold it. Hold it down and just slowly pull. Okay, see, this is gonna do the same thing. Okay, just kind of smash it down with your finger a little bit. Okay. Now we're gonna turn it and go this way. All right. I'm gonna take my little squeegee and see if I can't get that vinyl to just hit right there on that glass and stay. I'm just gonna take and do that just like that, okay? And I'm gonna go like this and pull. Okay, now I'm gonna turn it the other way. Yeah, see, vinyl is a process, y'all. I mean, it really is. Working with vinyl is a process. I'm not even gonna lie. Okay, so then we've got a piece of that branch picking up there. And I'm sure this end's gonna pick up. No, maybe I was wrong. All right. Yep, no, it did. Okay, so we just want to lay that down. Lay it down as close as you can get it. Okay, and then kind of put your finger on it so we can do the rest of this. All right, so now that we're almost done with the branch, you can see where it's kind of picking up a little bit. And all right, there we go. Okay, so now we've got packing tape almost off the glass, okay? Now see, like I said, see that? You want to kind of like move that and just make it straight. All right, so there's that piece. Now, we do know that the bird is gonna go here, okay? So we're just gonna match this like this. Its feet and its front have to match here. All right, so we'll pick this up, pick it up, pick the tape off, pick it up off the tape. I gotta stand up to do this so it matches perfect. Okay, its little feet there, right on the branch. And we'll put him down like this little tail. Now I'm gonna take my squeegee and I'm just gonna kind of burnish the bird. Okay, and we're gonna see if that holds, if that stays. Yeah, the bird looks like it's gonna stay. All right, so we're gonna, and that's gonna pick up a little bit, which isn't good. But anyway, we wanna burnish the vinyl down, and you might have to do the same thing here, you know? You just want to go all in different directions. Whatever direction's not working, try the other. Try another direction. All right, I don't think the bird's really going to give us that big of an issue, but I'm just going to go slowly with it. All right. So that tree part is picking up. Okay, you just want to do what we did before and get that off there and hold it with your finger and pull. And pull nice and slow. Because if you pull fast, you will mess up your design. Okay. Like I said, I don't really think the bird is going to be too much of an issue. Alright, so pulling slowly, making sure everything is pretty much staying down where it should. Okay, that is not. So we don't have too much farther to go with this, okay? So I'm just going to put my finger here. And I'm going to see if I can have it all stay down just like that. Okay. All right, so there's that. Now, we'll see where we're at with this. Okay. Just kind of want to give it a little rub. Okay, I am going to take the squeegee and I'm going to take this, what the vinyl came off of here in a minute. Okay, so we're still backwards. We want to still be backwards with the project, okay? So we've got the bird here. All right, and now we want to put this. Of course, it's backwards, but you want to center it like this, okay? You want to make sure everything is centered and where it should be going. Okay, so this is only 2 colors. Imagine if you're working with like 4 or 5, 6 different colors. I mean, it is a process. I'm not even gonna lie. But I love vinyl. I mean, it's beautiful. Especially if you can do it right. Okay, so now I have to stand up in order to get this right. So you want to center that, and you want to lay that vinyl down. Okay, and the best thing to do is take the squeegee and try not to get any bubbles in your project. Okay, and it's not easy, but when you're laying the vinyl down, that's the last thing you want. Okay, and like, don't go over here because it might pick up you don't want it picking up your other vinyl. Just kind of burnish where you can see here. Okay, and you can see those air bubbles and stuff disappearing. All right. Now, like I said before, if it's a small project that you're doing, it would be best to get the whole design. This way you don't have to go through all this stuff. But, you know, if you want to do it like this, if you're working like on a bigger piece, excuse me, if you're working like on a bigger piece, you may not want to do it like I said, you know, getting the whole piece down in one shot. It may be easier to do it like, okay, and see there's air bubbles in here. Okay, those have got to come out. That'll come out once I take the piece, you know, once I get this tape off here. But I'll take and burnish that. Of course, the width is just a little bit, it's not straight, but that's how it is in the photo. So anyway, that's kind of how you, that's how you layer vinyl. There's several different ways you can do this. You know, and I can even pick that up, pick that width there. I can pick that up and redo it. You know, I can make it straight and pick it up with my weeding tool and just straighten it out, but I'm not really worried about that. Okay, this tutorial was just to show you how to layer vinyl. So I'm not too worried about it. I can fix that. Like I said, if your pieces start picking up, man, just turn it around and start working in another area. That's what I do. You know, see, this is down good. Okay, it's not picking up. Okay, so we're just gonna try to get this piece off now. I'm not going to put paper behind this project. I'm actually going to use tulle behind this one. Okay, it's not going to be an illuminated project either. It's just going to be in a frame. So, but see how the vinyl's picking up in places? Okay, you really want to kind of get that down, burnish that all around. Wherever it's not staying, you might need to burnish with the squeegee, or you might need to hold with your finger like I showed you earlier. This is going to be a pretty piece though. I could always put paper back behind it, but I don't want to. Okay, see how slowly, okay, that's how you want to pick this up. And then once it's, you know, once it starts coming off that tape there, you just want to watch, and anything that you see coming up, you want to just burnish down either with your finger or the squeegee itself. But yeah, vinyl can be really, it can be a little bit crazy. And when you're working with glass, be careful. I've cut myself so many times. I work with a lot of glass and a lot of vinyl, so just want to kind of be careful and just keep an eye on this, you know, because you never know when the vinyl's going to pick up. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see that. It's almost, the tape is almost all the way off. So we're going to start back over here and see what happens. Like I said, pick up in one area. You want to pick up where your vinyl is actually staying down. Okay. it can get a bit frustrating. Alright, so I'm just picking off this tape here. Sometimes you can maneuver it to where it won't come up off your project, like, okay. Alright, so there we go. It's a coming. And like I said, working with glass, you know, you got a good chance of cutting yourself. You don't want to do that. I've done it many, many times, just being not careful with it. I think that H is pulling up there. And like I said, the packing tape, you know, it's good for flat surfaces, you know what I mean? If you have a curved surface like what I did here, you definitely don't want to use packing tape. I mean, I did because I didn't have any standard grip, and I could not use strong grip. It wouldn't have worked. There's a lot about vinyl that you gotta really, really understand, you know, the difference between permanent vinyl and removable vinyl. There's all kinds of vinyl, okay? You got iron-on, you know, what they call HTV. You know, you've seen me use that on the note, thank you note cards, things like that. And there's all kinds of ways you can work with this stuff. But like I said, sometimes it is a little bit, it does get a little bit trying. So you just got to have a little bit of patience with it. And if you can do that, have a little bit of patience, it should work fine. Okay. So now most of the tape is off. We still got a little bit to go here. Yeah, I'll figure out what I'm going to do with this word here, because it's totally not straight, and it should be. Okay, so let's get the rest of this off here. Okay, and there you go. Alright, so I know that was not easy. Okay, now I'm going to take this, and this is what the vinyl came off. I was using Hello Hobby Permanent. Okay, so I'm just going to take this, and you don't want to go directly on the design. You want to put like something in between it. Alright, to try to get that air out of there, because if you don't, it's going to show through on your piece, and it's not going to look very good. Alright, let's get these out of here. And then we'll take and we'll turn the piece around carefully. And see, that's what you get. I mean, it looks nice. I mean, it'll look even nicer when it's finished. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too worried about the word being a little off. Okay, but that's how it looks. Like this. Show you on the paper. Now, I could put paper behind it, but I'm not going to do that. Like I said, I'm going to use the tool. 2 different colors back behind this, and it'll be really, really pretty. So that's one way to layer vinyl. Alright? You can do it depending on how many colors you have. It may take a little bit longer than that, than what you saw me do. But that's what it looks like, and I'll put it in the frame, and I'll post it up in the post section of the channel so you can see. Okay? But I hope that helped y'all out. If you're interested in working with vinyl, stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing a lot of informational things about vinyl. Alright? So don't forget to check the post section shortly, because I'll be putting this finished project up there. I hope y'all have a great rest of the day. Have a happy Labor Day tomorrow. Of course, I'll be laboring, which I truly don't mind. I actually worked my day job today because I need to take Wednesday off. But anyway, I hope y'all have a great rest of the day, and I hope you'll join me for another video very soon. Take care, stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.